Hello friends, welcome in today's lecture. Today we will see how to create a simple servlet program. The servlet program can be created by the three ways. First way is by implementing the servlet interface. Second way is by inheriting the generic servlet class. And third is by inheriting the HTTP servlet class. So we can develop a web application by using the three way. First is implementing the servlet interface. Second is inheriting the generic servlet. And third is inheriting the HTTP servlet class. And most of the time we use the HTTP servlet because it provides the HTTP request specific methods such as a do get, do post and do head. Means the HTTP servlet provides the methods that is do get, do post and do head. So mostly user approach by extending the HTTP class. While implementing the servlet interface, we must include the javax.servlet package. So for that we import first line of a program is import javax.servlet.start. This package containing the classes and interfaces that are required for the operation of the servlet. So if you want to perform a servlet related operation, that time we need the package import javax.servlet.start. So that package contains the classes and interfaces related to the servlet. And the mostly commonly used interfaces from the javax.servlet package is the servlet. Then next see what is the generic servlet. The generic servlet class is a predefined implementation of the servlet interface. Hence we can extend the generic servlet class in our servlet program. And similarly the HTTP servlet class is a child class of the generic servlet class. So for that we can extend this class as well while writing the servlet program. So HTTP servlet class is a child class of the generic class. That means the generic servlet class is a main class and the HTTP servlet class is a child class of the generic servlet class. So let us see two ways by which we can write the servlet program. First way is by using the generic servlet and second way is by using the HTTP servlet. We can write the servlet program using the two way. First is generic servlet and second is HTTP servlet. First see how to syntax of the defining the servlet class using the generic servlet. First import javax.servlet package, then import javax.servlet.htp and import java.io.start. So the file java.io package is useful for taking care of the input output operation. So the IO package is mostly used for the performing the input output operation. And the import javax.servlet.htp and import javax.servlet, these both packages are important for containing the classes and interfaces that are required for the performing the operation related to the servlet. So at the time of performing the servlet related operation, we need these two packages plus this import java.io package. Then create a class, public class test extends generic servlet. This is the syntax defining the generic servlet. Then after that, here we write down the body of the servlet. This is the way by defining the servlet class using the generic servlet. See the next way, the second way using the HTTP servlet. For the HTTP servlet, we also define three packages: import javax.servlet.start, import javax.servlet.htp and import java.io. Same, the javax.servlet and javax.servlet.htp, these both package containing the classes and interfaces that are required for the performing the servlet operations. And the IO package is useful for performing the input-output operation. Then create a class. Public class tester extends HTTP servlet. So when you use the way of defining the servlet program using the HTTP servlet, then here we mention the extend HTTP servlet. Otherwise, if you want to use the generic servlet, that time we define the public class test extends generic servlet. The generic servlet provides the method service and HTTP servlet provides the method do get, do post and do head. The servlet get request from the client for some service. Means servlet can request to the server or web server for specific service. The servlet then processes the request and send response back to the client. Means first client send the request to the server and server process the request and send response back to the client. In order to handle this issue, the HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response are used in the servlet program. Means handling the client request and response, web server response, we need the two methods HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. So the servlet program uses the HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response for handling the client request and get the response from the web server. These requests are handled with the help of some methods and that are properly known as a method of the HTTP servlet. So handling the request and responses, we have to need the specific methods like do get, do post and do put. And this method is present in the HTTP servlet. So when you use the do get, do post, do put method, that time we need to use the HTTP servlet. And when you use the method service, that time we need to use the generic servlet class. Here see the methods of the HTTP servlet to handle the request and response. First method is do get. This method is handled for handling the HTTP get request. Second method is do post. This method handles the HTTP post request. And do put method handles the HTTP put request. These three are the methods of the HTTP servlet. See in detail what is the use of the do get and do post method. The do get method requests data from the source and do post method submit the processed data to the source. So the do get method requests the data from the source and do post method submit the processed data to the source. The protocol of the do get method as follows. Means the syntax of the do get protocol method is protected void do get HTTP servlet request. Request is an object of the HTTP servlet request and response is an object of the HTTP servlet response. Throws the servlet exception and IO exception. When you perform the servlet program, that time we need to throws the exception, that is servlet exception and IO exception for handling the servlet problems. So both servlet exception and IO exception is used in the program for handling the servlet problem. The HTTP servlet request object request that contains the client request made by the client. Means HTTP servlet request contains the client request made by the client, and the HTTP servlet response contains the response made by the servlet back to the client. Means for client request, the HTTP servlet request is used and for the response made by the servlet back to the client, that time the servlet response is used. The protocol of the do post method is same as the do get method. The syntax is that protected void do post HTTP servlet request comma HTTP servlet response throws servlet exception and IO exception. The syntax of the do poster is same as the do get method. The get requester is more efficient than the post requester. Means when you use the do get method, it is more efficient than the do poster, and also the get requester is less secure than the post request, because when you use the get method, do get method, that time your information is displayed on the URL, but when you use the post method, do post method, in the URL only the program name is there, not whole information is present in the URL. So get request is less secure than the post request. Also, the HTTP servlet requester enables the servlet to read the data from the HTTP requester, and HTTP servlet response is enabled to servlet to write the data to the HTTP response. So when you want to read the data from the HTTP request, that time the HTTP servlet request is used up, and if you want to write the data to the HTTP response, that time the HTTP servlet response is used up. And here also servlet exception and IO exception is thrown. Next, see how to write the servlet program. Step 2, create a servlet program. In order to create a servlet, we need to follow the few steps in order, such as the first, create a directory structure. Second step, create a servlet. Third, compile the servlet. Fourth, add mapping to the web XML file. Fifth, start the server and deploy the project. And sixth, access the servlet. When you write the servlet program, that time we need to follow these 6 steps. First, see, create the directory structure. For creating the directory structure, we need to install the XAMPP server. And in that XAMPP server, create a directory structure. In the location is C, XAMPP, Tomcat, Web Apps. And in the Web App folder, we create a your project or program folder. See, to run the servlet program, we should have Tomcat installed and configured. Means when you run a servlet program on your machine, that time we first need to install the Tomcat server. Referring the install the package XAMPP package. The XAMPP package contains the directory for Tomcat. You can also refer the Apache Tomcat, but here I am using the XAMPP server because the XAMPP package contains the Apache web server, MySQL, PHP and Perl. It can work on both Windows and Linux operating system. The XAMPP is a cross-platform because it works on a Windows, Linux or Mac OS. And in the XAMPP package contains other packages also like Apache web server, MySQL, PHP, Perl, etc. So for performing the servlet, I am using the XAMPP server. So you first install the XAMPP server when performing the servlet program. Then next, one important point is that for typing a servlet program, we need to 3 files. First is index.html file. Second, Java file, that is .java file. And third is web XML file. So when you perform the servlet program or when you write the servlet program, we need to create a 3 notepad file. First is HTML file, then second is .java file, and third is .xml file. Let us see how to create and how to execute the servlet program. For any servlet program, we need 3 files. In the index.html file, the .html file save in a sample servlet folder. So first is, I already tell you, we need to create a directory structure, and for that your XAMPP server installed in the C folder. So you choose the path C XAMPP Tomcat. In Tomcat create a folder. In Tomcat, web app folder is there, and in the web apps, create a new folder, that is your program name. Here my program name is sample servlet. So for the Java file, in the web apps folder, you make a folder for example sample servlet, and in that folder create a one folder name as a web.inf, and in the web.inf folder create a folder name as a classes, and in that classes folder you save your Java file. This is the directory structure. So first install the XAMPP server, then the XAMPP server is installed by default in a C drive. Then after go to the C drive, then click on a XAMPP. After that select the Tomcat, then double click on a Tomcat, select the web apps folder. In the web apps folder, create a new folder for your project name, like whatever you want to, you give your name as a project name or program name. Then my folder name is sample servlet. Then after that, in the sample servlet folder, we create a one folder web.inf, and in that web.inf folder create one more folder, that is the name as classes, and in classes folder we save your Java file. So likewise the directory structure is fixed. Then next is web XML file. The web XML file is saved in the web.inf folder, and the HTML file is saved in the sample servlet folder. These three files are required to perform a servlet program. Now let us see one example. Here I am creating a simple servlet and display the hello world output in the browser. So first here I am creating the HTML file. The code is HTML tag, head tag, title. My title is homepage, title closed. Close the title tag, close the head tag, open the body tag. In the form, action is equal to, here give the name of the action. Here I am giving the name first servlet. Then open the input type is equal to submit. The type is nothing but the your input of the program. Here we use the submit. Submit type is pretend as a button, and value is invoke servlet. So invoke servlet is displayed in the button. So button name is invoke servlet. Then close the form tag, close the body tag, and close the HTML tag. This is the HTML file, and this .html file save in the your created folder name, that is sample servlet. Then next see Java file. First import the three packages, import java.io.star, import javax.servlet.star, and import javax.servlet.htp. Then create a class, public class. My class name is first servlet extends HTTP servlet. Here we use the HTTP servlet. So for HTTP servlet, provide the three methods, that is do get, do post, and do put. Here we use the method do get. So public void do get HTTP servlet request, HTTP servlet response throws IO exception and servlet exception. Then in that do get method, here create an object of the printer writer. Printer writer out is equal to response dot get writer. The printer writer is used to print the message and other required content on the web pages. So here printer writer used to print the message. Also the output stream is created using the printer writer. And the get writer method is used for obtaining the output stream. So anything written to the stream is sent to the client as a response. So here we use the print writer out is equal to response dot get writer and out dot println hello world. So this program shows the output hello world onto the web server. Then save the file .java file in the your created folder sample servlet. Then in that create a folder webinf. In webinf create a folder classes and in that classes folder save the this .java file. After that the third file is .xml file. The web XML file is popularly known as a deployment descriptor and this is a basically is configuration file that describes how to map the URL of the web application to servlet. Means for servlet program we need to map the URL of web application to the servlet and for that purpose we need to create a .xml file and in that first open the servlet tag and in that we give the servlet name and servlet class name. So the servlet name is here I am given first servlet, then close the servlet name, then open the servlet class. My class name is servlet first servlet and close the servlet class. After that close the servlet. After that open the servlet mapping. In that also open the servlet name. My servlet name is first servlet. Close the servlet name. Open the URL pattern and in that close the servlet first servlet and close the URL pattern. After that close the servlet mapping. This web XML file describes the deployment descriptor and it is basically to map the URL of web application to the servlet. So these three files are required to create a web application or create a servlet program. And the web XML file is saved onto the your webinf folder. After creating these three files, next see how to run the servlet program. Next point is how to execute the servlet program. First install the Apache Tomcat server or XAMPP server. Then second step compile the Java program using the javac command prompt at the command prompt. And in that command prompt first set the class path of your XAMPP server. Here using the command set class path c XAMPP tomcat lib servlet api.jar. So when you compile your servlet program, first we need to set the class path of the Tomcat server and in that Tomcat folder library file is there, folder is there and in that library folder servlet api.jar file is there and that servlet api.jar file is set into the command prompt. So first step is to set the class path on the command prompt and after that compile the your Java code that is javac first servlet.java. After compiling successfully your Java code, then start your Tomcat server. Then open the web browser and type the command localhost 8080 is a port number of the localhost XAMPP, comma your folder name, your created new folder that is sample servlet and in that your HTML page name and just press the enter button, then you will get the output of our servlet program. Let us see practically how to execute the servlet program. Now see how actually servlet program is written in the program. First open the C drive, then in C drive the XAMPP server is installed. I am already installed the XAMPP server. So When you try the Servlet program first time, that time you install the XAMPP server. Then double click on XAMPP server. After that, here Tomcat is there. Double click on Tomcat. In that Tomcat, the web apps folder is there. Open that web apps folder, and here in that web apps folder, you create your project folder. Here I am creating a sample servlet folder, and in that sample servlet I am creating one folder. The name is webinf. Then in that webinf you create a one folder classes, and in the classes folder you save your Java file. Okay, so this is my Java file for Servlet. Okay, after that in the sample servlet folder you save the index.html file also. So in the sample servlet you make a two file. One folder is there and one HTML file is there. Remember that the webinf is written in a capital letter, web-inf. Then in the webinf folder the .web XML file is created. So XML file is saved into the webinf folder, and the HTML file is saved into the sample servlet folder. So this is the directory structure. You follow this directory structure while running the Servlet program. Otherwise you get the error. This is the first step to create a directory structure. How to create a directory structure? So once again repeat. I am repeating that. Open the XAMPP server in the C drive. Then double click on XAMPP server. Then open the Tomcat. In Tomcat, double click on a web apps. After that, create a new folder of your program or application. I am creating my folder name is sample servlet, and in that sample servlet create a webinf folder and you save your HTML file. And in the webinf folder create a one more folder, that is a classes, and you save your .xml file also. And in the classes folder save your .java file. Okay. Then after that, here your directory structure is completed. Then after that, while running your Servlet program, first you need to save the path or create an environment variable of XAMPP server, and for that purpose you need to save the path in the environment variable. So you need to save the class path, and for that open the Tomcat. In Tomcat, library folder is there, lib. Double click on that, and in that the Servlet API jar file is there. Up to jar file, Servlet API jar file, the class path will be set into the environment variable. For setting the environment variable, first go to the My Computer properties. After that, click on Advanced System Setting. In that, select the environment variable, and in that you set the class path of the XAMPP server up to the Servlet API.jar. Here I am already set. See here, variable name, class path, and variable value is C XAMPP Tomcat lib Servlet API.jar. Okay, and same for system variable. You click on a new, and variable name is class path and variable value is here up to here Servlet API.jar file. So you simply click on URL, copy that one and paste in the environment variable. Here variable value, but you give the path up to servlet API.jar. Here I am already set the class path also. So you need the set the environment variable, user variable also, and system variable also. Then click on OK button. After that, here once again click on OK button. Now the setting the environment variable of the class path XAMPP server is completed. Then next step is how to run the program. After setting the environment variable in the advanced setting, go to the command prompt. Then in the command prompt, first you will need to set the class path of the XAMPP server, and for that copy the URL of the XAMPP server, copy, open the command prompt. Here set class path is equal to C XAMPP tomcat lib servlet API.jar. Here in the command prompt also you need to set the class path up to servlet API.jar. Then click on enter. Here our class path is set. After that you need to go into the your directory structure. So see here our program is stored in the web apps folder. In that I am create a new folder, that is sample servlet. Open that one. Then go to the web INF. Then click on classes, and after that copy the URL up to the classes, because in the command prompt we need to execute the Java file, and for that purpose you need to give the path of the your Java file. So cd paste copy and paste your the URL, enter. Okay. Then up to classes, here path will be in a up to classes folder, and in the classes folder your .java file is there. Then run the Java file using the command javac program name first servlet.java. Then click on enter. Here our first servlet.java file successfully compiled. So up to here our Java file is successfully compiled. So there is no error in the Java file. Then after that open the browser. Then first opening your browser, start the XAMPP server. So this is the XAMPP server icon shortcut. Double click on that. Okay, my XAMPP server is already running. So first start the Apache Tomcat. See here, this is the XAMPP control panel. Here Tomcat is there. Just click on start. So our Tomcat server is started. See here the message is Tomcat started, and the Tomcat port number is 8080. This is the procedure of how to start the Tomcat, and for that double click on a XAMPP control panel, and in that click on a start button. Then automatically Tomcat server is started. Okay, after starting the Tomcat server, click on a web browser, open the web browser. In the web browser type the localhost, your port number 8080. Then after that write down the your created folder name. I am creating the folder name is sample Servlet. Okay. After that, enter the name of the HTML file. The HTML file is index.html. Okay. This is the URL. First, localhost port number 8080. After that, your folder name, and in that folder name, the HTML file name is there. Okay. Then enter. Here, this is the output. Invoke Servlet. It is a button because I am using the HTML code. The input type is submit. Submit is treated as a button, and the value is of submit button is invoke Servlet. After clicking the button or submit type, the next page is open, and here message is hello world. So this is the sample program of the Servlet, and this is the whole about the procedure of the Servlet program. So Servlet is mainly used for web application, and according that you can perform any web application or any program onto the web browser using the Servlet. See here, in the Java program, first import the three packages, then create a class first Servlet extend HTTP Servlet. Here we use the HTTP Servlet type, and for that in the HTTP the do get, do post and do put method is there. Here we use the do get method. Then HTTP Servlet request and HTTP Servlet response throws IO exception and Servlet exception. These two exceptions used to solve the program related to the Servlet. Then print writer used for to print the message onto the browser. So print writer out is an object of the print writer is equal to response dot get writer, and here simply print the message hello world. This is the .java file, and this file saved into the classes folder. Then next file is HTML file. The HTML file name is index. Here this is the HTML file. In that we use the open the HTML tag, then open the head tag. In the title, open the title tag. The title is home page and close the title tag. Then close the head, open the body tag. In that form action is equal to first Servlet. Then input type, here type I am using submit. It is act as a button, and the value of that submit type is invoke Servlet. So after running this program, first in the web browser we display the invoke Servlet button, and after clicking on that button you get the output hello world. Close the form, close the body tag and close the HTML tag. This is the your .html code. And last is mapping. How to map the web application with the Servlet, and for that .xml file is used. So the .xml file is present in the web.inf folder. See here. In the web.inf folder, web XML file is there. You simply write this code. First open the Servlet. You give the name, Servlet name and Servlet class. The class is nothing but the class file of your Java program. and URL is nothing but the name of your HTML action. So here the action form action, this name and URL pattern, this name is have to be same. Then and then your program is run successfully. Okay, this is the mapping between the web application and servlet. So when performing the servlet program, you need to create a three file: .java file, .xml file and .html file. First, set in the command prompt, we need to set the class path of the XAMPP server up to servlet api.jar file that present in the lib folder. After setting the class path, we need to go to the directory structure and compile the Java code. And after successfully compile the Java code, then go to the web browser and type the URL localhost colon 8080. It is a port number. Then your folder name, and after that your index.html, that is HTML file name. Then click on enter. You get the output of your program. So this is the sample program of the servlet.